Hi and welcome guys, this is a new tutorial about modeling a lamp with Blender that we will use as a prefab in our Unity 5 project. I really hope you remember our room we created with Blender. And in this Blender project I'm going to model this lamp. Let's first switch to an empty layer. And I will enable the screencast keys so that you can see which keys I'm pressing. Okay, we begin with adding a circle, and this circle will have 18 vertices. Decrease the radius. I think 15 centimeters are alright, and move it to the center. Okay, now let's extrude out the faces of this ring. Press S to scale them. And then extrude the outer ring in Z direction, like so. What we are currently modeling here is a kind of light bulb holder for this lamp. Okay, now scale this inwards after extruding. Okay, that's nice. Now let's scale this ring at the bottom to 0, and then I will remove the doubles. We did this in previous tutorials. I think you know, when scaling this down to 0 you have to remove the doubles because all these vertices will share the same location, and removing the doubles will merge them. Okay, that's it. Now let's select 3 faces in a symmetrical way. These are 18 faces at this outer ring. Now select 3 of them. Okay, then I press the I key and define an inset for these faces. Okay, then I switch to object mode because I didn't apply the scale for this thing here. It's important because I scaled it in object mode and you have to apply the scale then. And after that I scale these insets a little bit, like so, and then I choose extrude individual. Now look at this. That's a nice one. Okay, that looks cool. And after that I will extrude out this ring here in Z direction. Press C after pressing E for defining the constraint to the Z axis. And then I extrude out another cylindrical part for the top. Set it to smooth shading, and then comes the beveling. Let's select this edge loop and Ctrl B to bevel. Also this one. Okay, I don't think we have to apply a bevel for all the parts because actually we don't see them in the game. We will add a lampshade that will cover all these parts that we just created, and we don't need to create geometry that is not needed. It's always a good idea to care for performance when you're creating assets for your game. Okay, now let's start with the lampshade, and again we will add a circle at the center move it a little bit upwards. Okay, and then I switch to edit mode and extrude out this circle in Z direction. Press E, then C to constrain the axis, the Z axis, and then scale up this ring here at the bottom. And here's the basic shape of our lampshade. Let's turn to smooth shading for the lampshade. I think I have to increase the size of this holder part a little bit. Okay, this already looks quite realistic, but I think I will add a solidify modifier for the lampshade. Switch to object mode, modifiers, and here's the solidify. Yeah, I think 1 centimeter is alright. Okay, then switch to edit mode and add some edge loops. Okay, one here. And scale this up a little bit, and then one at the bottom. Yeah, that will do. Now I apply the solidify modifier because I'm happy with that, and then we are going to add some materials. One for the holder. This could be, for example, a metal material. Let's just add this. We can change this later on. And then a new material for the lampshade. Call this material lampshade. Yeah, and I think that's it for this lamp, and I will define a color for the lampshade, and then we could export out the model and see how it will look like in Unity. But before I will export, let me define the pivot point of this lamp. You see, I created a hierarchy. The holder of the lamp is the root and the lampshade is the child. Okay, and now I will define the pivot point. To do that, I switch to edit mode, select here one edge, and then I set the 3D cursor to that location. Then again switch to object mode and set the geometry origin to the 3D cursor, and now my pivot point for the lamp is exactly that location. And now let's export as always as FBX. Select the root and the lampshade, and then export directly into the folder of our Unity 5 project. Export FBX and open Unity 5, and here in our models folder is the lamp, and we can just drag it here into the scene, and you can see how nicely it fits according to the size. We have two materials for this, for the lampshade and for the lamp holder. Can define different colors. In the next tutorial we will add textures and all this stuff. But what I want to show in this tutorial is to create a so-called prefab. This means we will use this model, drag it into a folder called prefab, and I will add a point light to it. And this combination of point light and model is a prefab that you can reuse in your scene and drag it where you want it to be, and it will always have the behavior and appearance that is stored as the prefab. If you update the prefab, all the models that we use in the scene are also updated. But let's first find a matching position for this lamp here at the ceiling, and then I will use this point light here and drag it to the center of this lamp. A good way to position this point light at the center of this lamp is to add the point light as a child. So I will just drag it here onto the lamp in the hierarchy, and then it is defined as a child of the lamp. Then I set the position to 0 for all the axes and move it slightly downwards. Okay, and now it matches. And this is my first version of the prefab. This means I open the prefabs folder and drag it into this folder. And if I want to reuse it, I just use the version located in this prefabs folder, like I do it here for the right part of the room. It's that easy. Okay guys, now let's start the game and see how it will look like with these 2 lamps added. Yeah, I really like it. And it's reusable, extendable. As I said, we're going to add textures, perhaps a light bulb. We will see. Thanks a lot for watching, and please subscribe to my channel and come back soon to JNF.